You are listening to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, the best of series.
Welcome to the Yummy Mummy Podcast, where you will learn brand new and shockingly different tools to lose weight for the last time. And now, here's your host, certified life and weight loss coach, Laura Conley.
Woohoo! Before we dive into this week's best of episode, I wanted to let you know that the doors for the Yummy Mummy experience are open. So go to lauraconley.com, click work with me, and get yourself a seat. Doors close April 16th, and that is the same day that we start. So hurry on over there, save your seat, and let's go. Let's lose weight for the last time using the Yummy Mummy method, which is new and different. It is not like anything else you've ever tried. So how is it new and different? Well, we balance your hunger hormones in order to lose weight for the last time. We do a custom plan. This is not a one size fits all, babe. Nope, it's not. This is designed for you and your lifestyle. We create it together. It is systematized and it is just for you. There's no counting. There's no measuring. You don't have to work out if you're not already working out, or you could stop it, I guess, if you hate it. There's no macros, none of that BS. That's not sustainable, right? How else? Neuroplasticity. We literally change your brain. If you feel like you know all of the things, but you just can't get yourself to follow through, it's because you have to rewire your brain using this method. We also learn how to feel our feelings. I didn't know this, but I was an emotional eater, and that was part of the reason I didn't weigh what I wanted. I would grab for a handful of nuts when I was bored, or I'd eat a second cupcake because the party just wasn't that fun and the cupcake would make it more fun. But it wasn't serving me. So I learned how to feel instead of eat. And you might not be a big binge eater, but if you are not using food for what it is for most of the time, it's going to be impossible to weigh what you want. So come learn how to feel your feelings. It's really not that hard. We also have daily loving accountability. So we are checking in on you every single day to make sure you are creating what it is you want to create. And then the last reason as to why it's new and different is because we learn how to love ourselves. We become our own bestie and we have fun along the way. We're not white knuckling till the end. This actually can be a very enjoyable experience, one that you don't ever want to quit. So come on in, go to lauraconley.com. It is guaranteed. You either lose weight or your money back. And the reason I give that money back guarantee is because I know you've tried all the things. I know you feel like you failed. Like, why is this going to work? No one has ever asked for their money back because guess what? This works. You are not a special unicorn, babe. You're not. I thought I was. All my clients think that they are coming in, and you know what? They use this methodology and they lose weight for the last time and they're not a special unicorn. So borrow my belief in you. Really, that's a thing you can do. You can borrow my belief that you can do this. I know you can do this. I'm going to hold your hand the whole way. That's why it's so important to have a coach so that I can cheer you on. I can show you your blind spots and we can solve for those blind spots in the future. This really is the permanent solution. This is the last time. So head over to lauraconley.com, click work with me. There's even a button over there if you want to book a call and talk through your decision. Like if you're on the fence, it's no pressury, it's not slimy. It's just a fun, casual conversation that you and I get to have. So hurry on over. I'll see you inside. We start April 16th, just in time for the summer and really the rest of your life. Okay, I love you. Have the best week ever. Today, we're going to talk about CGMs. Have you guys heard of CGMs, continuous glucose monitors? We're going to talk about what the hell they are, what do they do, why you might want to try one, a very inexpensive alternative, and my experience with mine. You guys may have seen an Instagram post that I posted a while back of my continuous glucose monitor. So I wear mine on my arm and I put a sticker over it. So it's like this black circle sticker that's on my arm with a white logo. So there's two companies that I know of. Now, if you guys know more companies, tell me so that I can tell all the peeps, right? All y'all yummy mummies. So I use the brand Levels. They have a big waiting list. I'm actually working with them right now to get you guys a link so that if you don't want to be on the waiting list, you want to skip the waiting list, you can go direct, okay? Now, the other brand I've heard of that I haven't tried is called NutriSense. So some of my clients have been using NutriSense, and it seems like it's right on par with Levels. Again, I'm not like sponsored by either of these companies. I just used Levels for collecting my own data. What are they? Why do they exist? So I believe that they were originally created to monitor type 2 diabetes and to monitor blood sugar, blood glucose in people that have type 2 diabetes. Now, people that don't have type 2 diabetes started to get curious. I wonder if I could wear one of those so that I could watch my blood glucose, my blood sugar. So you guys, I'm going to use those two terms interchangeably. Now, why would you want to monitor your blood sugar? Like, who cares, right? If you don't have type 2 diabetes, why would you want to monitor your blood sugar? Okay, here's why. And this is so important. If you monitor your blood sugar, you can see what food is giving you a blood sugar spike. And if you are getting a blood sugar spike from food, that means that your body is probably most likely, right? You guys, now remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a dietitian. I'm a certified weight loss coach, okay? I'm not going to go too deep into the science on all of this. If you have more further questions and you really want to nerd out, actually the levels.link, that's their website, levels.link has some really good resources. Be Well by Kelly LeVeque has some really good resources, and she loves to nerd out, and she's just like, has one of those science brains like my husband does. But I'm just really going to tell you about my experience, and I can talk about it fairly intelligently. It's just that some of this, if I'm being honest, is above my pay grade. The people that do not have type 2 diabetes started to get curious. I really want to monitor my blood sugar, right? Because if you are getting a big spike after eating, that's not going to feel good. You're going to get a big crash. Have you ever eaten like a donut at 9 a.m. or even like a normal quote unquote healthy breakfast, like a big bowl of oatmeal, and then 2 hours later you're starving, or maybe even like an hour later you're hungry? It's because you're getting a big crash from that spike. It's not because you're actually physically hungry. You've actually created hormonal hunger, false hunger. Right? This is why so many of us need to balance our hunger hormones so that we can eat for true physical hunger versus eating for physical hunger, hormonal hunger. And then some of us also like to, as I used to, eat for emotional hunger. I love to wear this continuous glucose monitor because I can see when I'm getting a spike from certain foods, and that just informs me. I can collect that data, and then I can decide, do I want to continue to eat that food? That chocolate chip cookie, do I want to eat a chocolate chip cookie on a regular basis if it is spiking my blood sugar? Now, I told you spiking your blood sugar will give you a crash, right? And it'll make you hormonally hungry, most likely. Now, what else will happen if you spike your blood sugar by eating foods that, in my opinion, probably don't serve us? You're going to cue your body when that spike goes up, when it hits a level like 110 or 120 or 130, or I even had a client the other day that told me she got to 180. I was like, whoa. When you get a huge spike like that, it is cueing your body to release insulin. And insulin is a storage hormone. So it cues your body then to store fat. It also, when it's elevated like that, when your blood sugar is elevated like that, and thus your insulin elevated like that, it's blocking your body's ability to use fat for fuel. It's blocking your body's ability to release the fat that's already on your body, right? So we don't want these giant peaks and valleys all throughout the day. We want nice, even rolling hills. So when you eat a balanced meal, you're going to get most likely a little increase in your blood sugar and a little release of insulin. And that's totally natural and normal. And that's what you want. But you don't want these huge peaks and crashes because, like I said, you're going to cue your body to store fat. you're not going to be able to release the fat that's already there, and you're going to crash and burn and want to eat more than your body actually needs because you're hormonally hungry. This is why I talk about so emphatically that it's not about calories in, calories out. It's about balancing our hunger hormones. I'm not saying if you balance your hunger hormones, then you should eat like 5,000 calories. And in fact, that would probably pull your hunger hormones into an imbalance. But it's so much more about your hunger hormones than it is about the calories that you're eating, okay? And not eating, and the calories that you're trying to burn. So the continuous glucose monitor will give you, so mine is connected to my phone, and I've got an app on my phone. I scan my phone to the little device that's connected to my arm, and I can see what my levels are. And it will track continuously. So let's say I were to scan it right now. So I'm just taking you through it. I'm going to talk you through it. So I've got my phone out. I'm going to the app and it just says check glucose. So I press the button, check glucose. It says ready to scan. I hold the phone up to my continuous glucose monitor that's on my arm, that's in my arm. So some of you guys want to know about that. It's not just like a sticker that's on my arm. There's actually a little tiny needle that's in my arm that's reading my blood. Okay, so right now, my glucose is at an 81, which is good. And I'm looking at the graph. I'm looking at the chart since 6 a.m. this morning. And so far, I've had nice, even, gentle rolling hills in terms of my blood glucose, which is exactly what I want. Okay, I don't want to get big spikes. Now, you will get a big spike if you do a high intensity workout. At least I do, right? So if I go do the Peloton, I'm going to get a huge spike, which is totally normal. And that's actually a really good thing. So that's just something to note if you're somebody who is going to be testing their glucose through a continuous glucose monitor. I've noticed that things like the obvious things, you guys, like cookies, like potatoes, like bread, spike my blood sugar like crazy. I'm very, my body, it seems does not love carbs. Does not love, and I want to be a little bit more specific about that, does not love processed carbs, refined carbs, simple carbs. My body does fine. Actually, my body does really good with vegetables like peppers, asparagus, all kinds of salad type food, right? My body does good with carbs like berries. My body doesn't do great with things like grapes or apples or, unfortunately, even sweet potatoes. It doesn't mean I don't eat those foods. It just means that I have some more data to collect. If I do choose to eat an apple or if I do choose to eat sweet potatoes, I make sure to have a lot of fat and protein with those foods, because for me, if I eat those foods plain, I get an even bigger spike, right? Can you guys really start to see how it isn't about calories in, calories out? It's so fascinating to me. I just love this data. I love collecting the data. It's so informative and it helps me to make better decisions from a very clean place. For me, the continuous glucose monitor and what I've seen with my clients, it does not send them into diet drama. It doesn't trigger them in the way calculating some other things might, like weighing ourselves, right? And I have a whole, you guys know this, I haven't done an episode on it yet, I don't think, but I have a whole spiel on how I feel about the scale, right? The scale is just a measuring device, just like a measuring tape for your height. We really demonize the scale, and we make the scale bad and wrong for reading a number that we've created, most likely, right? And I've just found that the continuous glucose monitors have not been triggering for many of my clients, which is, it's really cool. In fact, it's doing the opposite. It's allowing them to collect data scientifically so that they can make choices that are in alignment with where they want to go, in alignment to their highest good and highest health. So not only are these continuous glucose monitors really helpful for maintaining your weight or for losing weight, they're also really helpful if you care about other parts of your health. they have found that people that have chronically elevated blood glucose and people that those big post-meal spikes in blood sugar, those people have a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, of stroke, of cardiovascular disease, of liver cirrhosis, of obesity, of cancer, and even more. So it's not only just a way to collect data to help you lose weight, it's also a way to be healthier and prevent a lot of diseases and really stack the deck in terms of your longevity and you just feeling the way that you want to feel. So it's really insightful. I'm just going to share a couple more things that I've noticed. I've noticed that if I don't get a good night's sleep or I'm up with one of my babies, that I don't have a great fasting glucose. So fasting glucose is the level that you receive right upon you waking up. Okay. And you want this to be between 70 and 90. Okay. And so what I notice is like if I'm up with my kids because Phoenix is teething or who knows what, right? I notice that my fasting glucose is not amazing, right? I might wake up with like a 106 or something that's a little higher. That's really interesting. And that just proves to me, for my body, what I've seen, right? The research I've done. If you don't get a good night's sleep and you don't get 7 to 9 hours, I really like to say like 8 to 9.5 for my clients and for me, but you know your body. That's what I care about the most, right? If 7 really genuinely feels good for you, then go with it. But what I notice if I have lack of sleep or my sleep is interrupted, I'm not getting a good fasting glucose number, probably most likely because there's been excess cortisol released. And when excess cortisol is released, our blood sugar goes up and excess insulin goes up, right? Too much insulin is released into our bloodstream. So that's why it's really important if you want to lose weight to get a good night's sleep. It's like low-hanging fruit for some of us. Now, for some of us, we have brand new babies, so that's just part of the deal, and you'll get through that cycle. And I don't even want to say get through it. You will enjoy that cycle, right? Enjoy it. Love that baby. Okay, so what else have I noticed? Okay, this is actually just really random, and I feel like it's important to tell you. I noticed that when I take a shower, I get a spike. Now, I don't get an actual spike. It's just that my sensor is getting hot. Okay, so that's just like a random fun factoid. I've also noticed, and you'll see this out there, that if I do eat a meal that might have like a sweet potato in it or some brown rice in it or fill in the blank, I might get a spike. And I might know that I might get a spike because of previous data. So the way that you can blunt that spike is by moving your body. It doesn't mean you have to go do a vigorous workout. It just means you could clean your kitchen or you could go for a walk. It's actually made me much more motivated to clean my kitchen when I don't want to clean my kitchen, when I want to relax. And then ultimately I feel better. So that's a fun little hack. You can blunt that curve. And of course you want to blunt that curve because that means your blood sugar won't go up as high, which means not as much insulin will be released, which means not as much fat will be stored, right? And while you're doing the balancing of your blood sugar and thus your insulin, you're also starting to balance your leptin and your ghrelin. Those are the hunger hormones that are responsible for telling you when you're hungry, when you need to move your body, and when you're full. So when you have a nice, even rolling hills of that blood sugar, you're going to have beautiful insulin, ghrelin, and leptin. Right? So your body isn't going to tell you that it's hungry when it's not actually hungry. And your body is going to be like, hold up, I think we're full. That is kind of the gist on what blood glucose monitors are and why you might want to try one for yourself, just to give you some more information. I really feel like it's cliche, but knowledge is power. The last thing I want to tell you is that if you want to test your blood sugar without doing levels or without doing NutriSense, the other brand that I recommended, you could go to Amazon and you could get, now again, you guys, I'm not giving you medical advice, okay? I have to be very clear here. I'm not giving you medical advice. I am not your doctor. I am not your dietitian. I'm a yummy freaking mommy who has a podcast who wants to tell you some good information that I have used for myself. Okay. So you get to decide what you want to do with that information. But I loved the brand Avon, Auvon on Amazon. Go on there if you want to and get a blood sugar kit. Okay. And these blood sugar kits will help you, and it has all the instructions in there to prick your finger. So you're going to prick your finger when you wake. And again, you're testing for that fasting glucose. You want to see, can I get that glucose in between 70 and 90? And if it's a little higher than that, get curious. What did I eat yesterday that could be responsible for the spike upon waking? Okay. Between 70 and 90, go for. Then what's really cool is you could go eat breakfast and you could decide, okay, I'm going to have some keto pancakes or some paleo pancakes or some regular pancakes and some berries and I don't know, some bacon, whatever you're having. Eat your food. Test your blood sugar using the Avon from Amazon test 1 hour after and then 2 hours after. And that'll give you a good read as to the spike. Personally, I like to stay, if I'm being really honest, I really like to stay under 100. But they quote unquote say under 100, under 110 is what you want to aim for. You don't want to get too much higher than that in terms of your spikes. Okay. So you'll see, like for me, if I, like, what did I just have for lunch? I just had berries and eggs and cheese and that was it. And I really didn't get a spike at all. Let me look. I really didn't get a spike at all. Now, here's another fun little factoid I want to tell you. If you eat your berries at the end of the meal, that can also help your blood sugar to not elevate as highly. So that's really cool to know, right? Like another fun fact, I had seen this on, I think, the Levels blog, and I was like, oh, I'm going to test that. So if I eat the berries at the beginning of my meal, I get a bigger spike. If I eat them at the end of my meal, I get a lower spike. If I eat the berries by themselves, I get a decent spike. If I eat them with, like I said before, decent amount of fat and protein, I'm kind of good to go. Yeah, so all day long, I've just had gentle rolling hills. Now, if you guys are following me on Instagram, at Laura Conley Coaching, I will share some of my data that I've been getting from the Levels app, and you guys can see, oh, she got a spike there. And I'll be like, oh, I got a spike there. And I'll tell you why I got that spike. I think that's pretty much it. But that's some really good, juicy, meaty resources. Be very careful, though. I want you managing your brain around this. If you notice that you do get triggered, I want you to remember and go back to some of my other podcasts. Your blood sugar is just a neutral circumstance. You can think whatever you want to think about it. So make sure that your thoughts about whatever numbers that you create are useful, are serving you, are on purpose. These thoughts should make you feel the way that you want to feel as you are on your journey towards better health and better well-being. Okay? Really, my takeaway is go get a continuous glucose monitor. NutriSense, Levels, Avon is not the continuous one, right? That's the one where you prick your finger. If you want to. If you're like, that would be really cool. And if you notice you get triggered, manage that mind of yours. Decide. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. We are the only species that can watch ourselves think and that can separate ourselves from our thoughts. Okay, so this is just a neutral measuring device. That's all it is. And the numbers are neutral. What's so cool is that through what we're putting in our body and not putting in our body, we can really become so healthy, so radiant, so alive, so energetic, have the zest that we want. I found this to be huge. So that's what I will leave you guys with. I want you to have the best week ever, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Ciao, ciao. Hey, if you've enjoyed listening to this podcast, I would love it if you leave a rate, review, and a subscribe on whatever you're listening to this podcast in. Pretty pleased with a cherry on top. It would help me so much, and it would help all the other mamas out there hear this message. Thank you in advance. I really appreciate it. And you have to come check out the Yummy Mummy experience. It's my proven lose weight for the last time group coaching and course. Head to lauraconley.com and just click work with me. Other than that, you guys, I would love to give you a free gift. If you want your free listener only gift, go to lauraconley.com/gift. And from there, you will get your free best ever weight loss hack. So cool. The last thing I want to tell you, you guys, is I do have a free Facebook group. It's called, you guessed it, the Yummy Mummy. Lose weight for the last time, end body drama, and get food freedom. You can just search that on Facebook, or again, you can head to the show notes and you'll find the link there. All right, you guys, have the best day ever.